Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Professor Dr. Rizwan Jamil Qureshi. Welcome to the new lecture of IT Need Assessment and Technology Evaluation. I was covering the IT scope management and I'm going to discuss net present value analysis today. Net present value is a method of calculating the expected net money gain or loss from a project by subtracting all the expected future cash inflows or outflows to the present point in time. Higher the NPV, net present value, that's better. Return on investment is another criteria that we need to consider for a project. Return on investment is equal to total discounted benefits minus total discounted cost divided by discounted cost. So denominator in bracket total discounted benefits minus total discounted cost and the denominator discounted cost. Higher the ROI, it's better. Payback analysis is another criteria that how and when the project will start going to return or recover the input or in cash flow in the project, and like as early the payback, as early as the project is beneficial for the company. Then we have weighted scoring model. That's another method. Is a tool that provides a systematic process for selection of the project, and there are many criteria for that. For example, first identify criteria that how the project is important for the company, and then we have weightages that we assign to each criteria and the sum should be 100%. Then you assign the scores to each criteria for a specific project, like for example attendance system, what is the criteria and for each criteria what is the score, payroll system, inventory system, and then you will see which has the high weighted score, the better for the company. Scope planning and the future work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure is the way how you divide the task and then who will take the responsibilities to accomplish those tasks. After completing scope planning, then you need to define the project in terms of manageable pieces or tasks. For example, when we say good scope definition means it helps improving the accuracy in terms of time, cost and resource estimation. Define a baseline for performance measurement and project control. It helps in communicating clear work responsibilities. Work breakdown structure is a way to deliver that work in terms of who will assign the responsibilities, who will take the role, and what are the tasks you need to perform, how much time you need to cover those tasks or complete those tasks in terms of cost, time, and the responsibilities or the roles. We need to verify the scope and change control. It is very difficult to create a good scope statement and work breakdown structure for a project. It is even more difficult to verify project scope and minimize scope changes. Many IT projects suffer, they failed because of the scope creep or poor scope. For example, some examples I found: Foxmeyer Drug filed bankruptcy after scope creep on a robotic warehouse project. Engineers at Grumman called the system Nazivare and refused to use it. 21st Century Insurance Group, they suffered, they wasted a lot of money, and instead of covering or completing that project, they can reuse off the shelf or they can purchase off the shelf components. There are few suggestions for improving user input. For example, good project selection process, and you have to insist or you have to support the sponsors, convince them to invest on the project, and keep on supporting the project, have users on the project team in important roles, do we have regular meetings, deliver something to users and the investors on regular basis, so they must be satisfied, they must be happy. Co-located users, they have meetings with the developers or the software engineers. There are few suggestions for reducing incomplete and changing requirements. You need to keep track the requirement management or requirement change management, and we can use software configuration management techniques to track and manage the changes. Use techniques like prototyping, use case modeling, and joint application design to get more user involvement, or like we have code demos, or we have for example in Scrum you have sprint review or sprint retrospective meetings are there, or for example in Agile XP we talk about the prototypes or the stories in terms of releases, early feedback. You have to write the requirements as they are coming, and you have to evaluate them that these requirements are justified and how much each change in the requirement will consume cost, time, effort, resources. And smoke testing or regression testing is very important, that these changes have been incorporated or not in the project, and you have to use the verification techniques, validation techniques to make sure that the changes in the requirement have been implemented. Emphasize completion dates to help focus on what's more important. And as a project manager, you need to use software like, for example, Microsoft Word, spreadsheets, Excel, communication tools like email, Skype, WhatsApp, and the tools like you have to use Microsoft Project or Primavera, or in Agile you have Jira. So specialized software is available for applying the balanced scorecard, like I just said, Jira, creating mind maps, managing requirements. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum.